Well, hello, Huggin' Munners. Welcome to the Huggin' Munnin studio. Today, I'm going to show you the making of a baby quilt. It all started with a box of baby grows and a few other items. I laid them all out to get kind of a grip on what I had and have a feel of them all and to see the colours. A few different things there. Different textures. That one has little love hearts sort of embossed on it. Very cute. Adorable. And then I realised that I had baby grows with little pockets on. 4 different garments. And I thought it would be nice to salvage the pockets. Not all of them, but one from each. The only problem was that they were a little bit tight for making the size, but we got around that. So everything starts off with cutting up the clothes, which is remarkably emotional. I found that doing this was quite hard. I had to get on with it, not think about it too much. And arms and legs aren't much use. What we're looking for are panels, a sort of 6-inch square. And so that's coming from the front or the back. Cutting out the gussets. So it's maybe not easy to see, but there's a pocket on that panel. And so I'm trimming it down until I've got the bit with the pocket in the middle. And then it needs a little bit of stretching just to make it a 6-inch square. So as well as pulling and stretching it by hand, using the iron to stretch it and to hold it in place. Lots of measuring throughout the whole of this project to try and make sure it was neat. And then this is an interface, plastic soluble interface, which I've put between the baby grow fabric and its cotton backing that I have used for this project to give it support. The cotton and the interface essentially has helped to make all the fabrics the same or more similar to each other, and the more similar they are, the more likely or the neater the job should be in the end. So you see the purple backing. So between the purple patch and the baby grow, there is the soluble interface. Stuck down at least over most of it. And then we cut out rotary cutter, lovely tool to use, nice and quick. And this is us getting our proper square. Some of you quilting people out there will be thinking I'm doing this a bit slowly, but this was the first time I'd made a memory quilt or baby quilt, and so everything was a bit slow till I got the hang of what I was doing, a bit more confidence that it was going to come out right. So more purple backing, interface, and then baby grow. Lots of cutting, measuring, one baby grow after the other. I'll not bore you with the ironing. There's nothing more boring than ironing. But I'm sure this little lady, when she's grown up, she can look back and see what her baby grows looked like once upon a time. So as well as cutting out pockets and cutting out motifs, pictures, just nice designs, and trying, where I can, get more than one square, I would be doing that. This garment, I like this edging, the piping, and I had an idea that if I took the edging off, I could then use the edging a little bit like use the edging to make the little girl's name. And it is. So just a pretty girly bit of piping, and I cut it into sort of 2-inch lengths to make her name. It's like a winter fluffy jumpsuit, very different from everything else. To think hard about how to use it. Eventually I needed more cotton squares, so I measured again, checked my measuring, and then cut out a batch. Same for the interface, another plastic sheet going on there. Difficult to see perhaps because it's flimsy and obviously see-through. A mind of its own as well. So baby grow, interface, cotton square, and then spraying it with water from the iron, and the water from the iron is essentially going to dissolve the interface, and then that's me protecting the camera from the spraying. But the water goes through the cotton and dissolves the interface, which is just made of glue, I think. And then once I leave it for a few moments, you have to give it a chance to dissolve. I'm then going to put the iron on it, and the iron will then dry it again, making it sticky. So I was perfecting my techniques as the project went on to try and speed up a bit. think that the measuring was really important, so that in the end, if somebody was to look closely at the crossovers of the patches, that they would see that there was a decent line up. So under this ruler there's the 3 layers, and patches ended up looking like these. Seemed like loads. One dark blue one. It's the one that stands out. To kind of figure out what it should look like and how big is it going to get now, and what to get my colours and patterns balanced. And I also had to think ahead to the very end stages where I was going to sew on the bibs, the little boots, a fluffy thing from a hat. They had to go on somewhere, so I had to get the right patch underneath them. So took my time. Didn't really have any rules to follow, but took my time, and then I started sewing. And I think all the advice I read was to sew 2 and then 3 and then 4 or into 6s, so that you do small number connected, and then sew those big patches together. And obviously the iron helps those seams to stay down, because you need them quite flat so that you can sew them together. I took a lot of care making sure that things were the right way around, because I've certainly learnt the hard way that if you don't check, chances are it'll be upside down or the wrong way around. And then trying to get the squares squarely against each other. Some of them came out better than others. And because of the fabrics being different from each other, different stretch materials with different stretch and thicknesses and textures, they are certainly liable to move about under the sewing machine foot. And although I'd sort of standardised them a little bit with the cotton on the back, it's still a struggle to get everything to stay where I wanted it to stay. Much easier if everything's made of the same material. However, use lots of clips and get a through my inexperience as well, I had to just go slow and hope that I was going slow enough for it to come out okay. Clips are much better than pins. One or two squares I couldn't get to line up, but most of them were okay. It's just the ordinary foot that I've used on the sewing machine, and just a straight stitch. I like to do a reverse. Just hold it in place, and we're off. And the result it's not too bad. Quite a nice cross there. Maybe not perfect, but not bad. And try and let you see that one's better. Yeah, bit of variation there. It's all the patches sewn together now. That's the underside. So next thing to do is get the filler foam in and sewn patches on top. And a little bit of trimming to make sure that that foam filler's not too big, or it'll just be a problem if there's too much of it. You don't want too little either. So again, lots of measuring. So I've now got, that's the cotton, purple cotton down first, then the filler, making the sandwich. This is when you need long arms, which don't really have long arms. Making sure that I don't have any wrinkles or folds or something that's out of sight. So those two layers are down, the cotton and the filler, and then the cover on top, getting it positioned. And then every square gets a safety pin. And that safety pin's going to hold on to it while I do the stitching, the quilting stitch, which is following the square patches. So I think that's the simplest of the quilting stitches to do. It was sensible for this first time. A bit of trimming. The next thing is I had to cut out lengths of my backing material. So long strips of cotton. Very important again that it's measured properly so that it doesn't, you don't want wide bits and narrow bits. It needs to be the same length. It then needs to be fixed on and round the entire quilt. So first of all, used the iron to fold in the edges of it so it's like big bias binding, and that obviously makes it a little bit easier to put on. I think if I was doing it again, I would make this wider or go and buy something that's purpose made, because I think I felt although the quilt's not very thick, it did feel as if what I'd prepared was only just big enough. So positioning it around the edge of the sandwich, doing a mitered corner, which is pretty simple. You know, you tuck it in as if you're wrapping a present sort of thing, and hold it down, stitch it round, and once that was done, I had to stitch on the things that weren't patches. So this is me working on the name of the child and sewing on other bits and pieces very quickly. And the mother wanted the bibs, particularly important for them, so I left the bibs so that they could be opened and closed, and so I didn't stitch them up too tightly to the quilt. And then I've done a little bit of hand embroidery to put the Huggin' Munnin Studio on it, and a little bit of embroidery on little bits of material that shows the baby's name and date of birth, time of birth, and her weight. So there's the two bibs. There's a bit more stitching went on after this show, but you get the idea. So I hope you've enjoyed watching this. I've been happy with the result, and Mum and Dad were happy with the result, and I hope it'll be a treasured thing for the daughter, the baby. So if you've enjoyed, you know what to do, and see you next time with the next project. Bye for now.